Hello, and welcome to the North Pole. As part of the spirit of the holidays, I've decided to take a crack at a North Pole build here, themed around some of the special, unique buildings and just general, some DLC stuff that's available in the game, especially from the Industries DLC. And I think we'll also be making use of plazas and promenades quite a bit. Maybe a couple of others in there as well, depending on how extensive things get here. But to start, I've put down Santa Claus's Workshop here because I think this building is really going to inform so much of the build. It looks like a roadside attraction, which is fine. For the purposes of this build, I think we'll treat it mostly as a workshop, really. Like, this is the place at the North Pole that Santa comes to work out new ideas. He might have some offices in there. Um, because where the bulk of the production is going to happen, of course, is the toy factory.
Really excited for what the toy factory is going to bring to this build. Obviously, it's going to produce toys that then we can export, which I think is exactly what we want for the North Pole build here. So, of course, we're going to start here. You can see all the DLCs I have. It's pretty much all of them, as far as I know, except for maybe some of the radio packs. But in this build in particular, Snowfall, Industries, and maybe plazas and promenades will be really essential. So I'm going to come to the snowfall maps here so we get our nice snowy look. And I'm going to pick Winter Hills. We'll go from there.
And I'll leave dynamic weather on so maybe we can see some snow. I'll leave day on so we can see. And then I'm going to unlock all milestones and money. I'll do unlimited oil and ore because it's Santa, right? The guy he's got it all. He's been around forever. Money's clearly no object for him. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is come in here for the radio. We're just going to mute this. I recommend if you have some favorite holiday music, especially something instrumental, why don't you put that on? Here's what we're looking at here, starting square. You can see we're basically on top of this nice big hill here, um, or maybe even a mountain. I don't know what you want to call it. We got a nice big lake up here, a lot of great views. So the highway connection is up here. Obviously, there's a train connection down there. The other first key thing I want to come in here and look at is our terrain, right? So we can see the highway connection is set up here to sort of give us this very obvious path out to this sort of plateau area out here, which I think has a lot of potential to be a big part of the build, obviously. If we look, there's some more flat area kind of over that way. And then a lot down towards, as you get further down the mountain here. So the other thing we should check is our natural resources, right? So we'll want to have access to as many natural resources as we can. Right here we can see there's some patches of timber. Obviously, we can see those. There's a few ore veins over there, it looks like. And then I think there is some oil around, although it's not in really easy to use places for as early as I think we're going to need it in the build. Because the first thing I want to do today is build Santa's Workshop and the toy factory. So I want to do this. And I'll go ahead and pause things, right? That makes sense. So there's a couple of unique buildings, but obviously want to get to the winter market. The Christmas tree here is great as well. But the first thing I want to look at is Santa Claus Workshop, where all the gifts in the world come from. Elves work tirelessly through the year to make sure all good children get lovely toys for Christmas. So you can see, obviously this is why we're playing with budget off. This is just 300k out of the gate. And it's really like an essential first piece of the puzzle here. Good entertainment, expensive upkeep, some noise pollution. Kind of all to be expected, I think. So, let's just get it down. So the toy factory You see, it has a pretty big radius for pollution there. This has 61 workplaces, and actually we want to kind of keep track here as we go. So we'll call this toys, because this is all going to be the toy production area. Let me just pull in policies real quick. So we're going to do these all across the North Pole. Smoke detector distribution, this is going to reduce fire risk significantly, it says. And if you do it at the start, it's much easier to maintain it and factor it in as part of your city as it expands. I want to do recycling. Yeah, we'll let the elves smoke weed. Why not? I think free public transport makes sense. Not that we'll have any. I'm not sure. Maybe other than some trains. We'll do that. So we can try to cut down on the key here is we want to try to cut down on the number of buildings we need, because that is going to cut down on the job count, which I think the one thing I'm worried about the most for this build, how are we going to keep up with the amount of workers we need? Yeah, we'll want to do that. I think we'll want the North Pole to try to stay clean. I think we should let the elves unionize. That's just a personal choice. Using the workshop and the toy factory here, the plan for today's build is to basically build a small industrial area here to house the workshop, the toy factory, and uh, a lot of the cities. We're also going to include a lot of the city's essential services, so power, water, sewage. I'm planning to do back in here. Plus, we'll obviously need to set up some industry areas in order to get the toy factory operational. So obviously, maybe before we do anything else, we want to think about getting our highway back here, right? Because that's going to be very important. So we come straight like that, and that gives us a nice clean grid there still. Okay. And then we want to come back here. Okay. I can live with that. We'll see if traffic gets bad back here. We may have to do something about it. Okay. And good. That'll get us enough room there. There we go. I think that looks pretty good there. And that was still cool. Yep. It takes that out of the range of that pretty nicely. Okay. And while we're here, why don't we just call this Santa's Toy Factory. So, part of the point of doing this too was to keep track of worker needs here. 40. Great. So that's 40, and this will actually just tell us straight up
that it needs 61, so about 100.
But obviously, we're going to have some needs here, right? So first things first, I do want to turn this off. First, we just need to focus on power, water, and garbage, obviously. So of course, we're going to go with a coal power plant, which is going to be pretty dirty. Obviously, we'll need water. I think that can go up here by Santa's Workshop. And we'll also need a boiling station, obviously, to account for the frigid temperatures. Do that there. And then we'll want to bring our heated pipes throughout the grid here so far. There. Perfect. And then, of course, I'm going to use the recycling center. I just find that that's the best thing to go with. Okay, that's all fitting together pretty nicely right there. In fact, how does it look if we move this here and this here? Just like that. Cool. Okay, so we got a nice little municipal campus shaping up here with our boiler, our coal power plant, and our plumbing. One more thing we'll need obviously is sewage. And for that, I want to look at another heavy polluter here. I think for now, we'll just get it down and we can worry about if it needs to be moved somewhere else later on. Nice little grid taking shape here. let's go ahead and see how we're looking on terrain. Pretty good. Got a little bit of room to expand here and there yet. Keeping in mind that most of this is going to be polluted over here and uninhabitable. I'm just going to have to see how that takes shape. I wonder if it doesn't even make sense to move some of that stuff back here. As we move the coal plant out here for sure. In fact, we'll move it over one. I think we bring the sewage treatment out here for sure. And what about the boiler? Okay. Feel fine about that. In fact, this should probably hook up right here too. Or actually right here, because I think this is where we're going to put the recycling center. So the point here is I just want to try to move some of these really polluting uses away from what I think is actually going to have to be like a really core downtownish kind of area. So by putting them out here, I'm hoping that first of all we'll still have clear access for anybody who doesn't need to use these, but then they kind of have their own dedicated setup out here in a way that I think will be important. So obviously had to sort of mess with the grid here, but I think this will work because now this is sort of a more dedicated industrial setup here. And in fact, we could even keep this highway through a lot of here so that the speed stays high. Really, I don't wonder if that should actually be the main road coming in here. As in, what if we prioritize that movement? Okay, we'll try that for now. I'm not sure I'm crazy about the highway design here, but it is what it is. Okay, so now I'm gonna resume it. We should have power, water, and garbage. Nice little municipal services campus there. Seems like everything is running fine. Obviously, we need to think about getting some residential in here, but first I want to build the supply chain for this so we have a better sense of just how many jobs we're going to need. And expand toys to include the toy factory. So, building's turned off. What we need here is paper, planed timber, and plastics. And that'll give us our toys, which are a unique factory good. So, first thing I want to think about right here is storage for all of those things. So if I come in here, I think we can we'll do paper there. We'll do another yard that'll be for plain timber. And then maybe we could do plastics around the back here. I want to think about, because this is also going to be a really heavy polluter, the oil industry that goes with this. So we'll have to think about where we want to put that. For now, we'll stick it right here. Because we know that we'll want our timber industry to be coming out of here. And in fact, I might even say, can we move these back here? Oh, we totally can. That's a beautiful fit. I don't think we need these right now. Okay, so that's cool. So then we need to come in and do a timber area. Okay. Enchanted woodland. Okay. So, obviously the first thing we need to look at here is production. And then let me freeform. Let's kind of make our way around this rock. And then I want to come straight again right here. Although, Wonder how polluted this will get back here. I'm not sure. So we'll just come like right here. And then can we curve in there? Pretty nice, pretty nice. And then we'll grab the enchanted woodland here. Bring that right there. Okay, so these will barely fit here right now. Or we can just go with the small ones, which I think might be the play. So these do take quite a few workers if I remember right. 20. So why don't I'm just going to start with 2. And then obviously we'll need somewhere to keep planed timber. So I think I actually want to move this up. Okay, and then I think we need to come in here and look for our small log yard. So this is where we will keep our logs as they're coming out of the forest. We'll stick that there so it's sort of close, but you can still kind of get the town from it there. Okay. And so then we'll need to be turning logs into plain timber and paper, obviously. So we got 2 things for that here. One is the biomass pellet plant, which just doesn't quite want to fit back here, I guess. Guess it'll fit like right here. In fact, I may even just slide it over one more. It's going to also go over here. Like out there. It looks a little rustic. Key thing is we do want this in a place that our service vehicles are going to be able to get to it easily, which is the other thing we have not done yet is, and maybe now is a good time to think about it. I'll just throw down some quick service stations here, nothing permanent. And of course the other thing I almost forgot about completely is snow dumps. These will be very important for this build. We're going to go ahead and throw that right here. This is just going to be a work in progress, folks. You'll have to bear with me. Okay, so these need water. Go ahead and hook all this up. Obviously you need some water out here as well. I don't think we'll need to do the heat for this though. So that's paper. We still need a sawmill. There we go. So now we should have, this will turn out plain timber, that'll turn out paper. We have storage for both of those, so that's 2 out of the 3 things we need. The other thing we need, plastics, we're going to have to do an import industry for. So we're just going to come and reclaim this. We're going to call this clause import, so it's a little under the radar. Santa might not want everybody to know that he's importing oil to produce plastics. So we'll need a small crude tank form just to import oil. So I'm going to put that back there. In fact, we'll go one further. There we go. So that'll import oil, but to turn it into plastics, we will need either the naphtha cracker plant, which is much bigger, or a petrochemical plant which is smaller and will therefore require less workers, if you can believe it. So the pollution on this is massive though. Okay. So we're going to try it right there. we'll see how it goes. I'm not confident that'll be a place that can stay, but I'm willing to give it a shot. In fact, I don't think we need that even. I think we can just do one of these guys for plastics. How do we want to do this though? I think we'll just need to have a road come up here. There we go. Okay. And that'll save us a couple extra workers too. Plastics. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and let these fill, because obviously we'll want plenty of everything for our toys. So, okay. Now I'm going to let it run again for another sec. And see if we can get another readout on our worker needs. Okay. We just need to make sure all of this is included, obviously. So, this through here. Okay. Now let's see, 448. In utilities, we've got another 165. So we're starting to see logs stack up already. There's really no point to this second road. There we go. So now we can come through and still have these connections here. But all this truck traffic will be able to make an easy right-hand turn in here, hopefully. Okay, so now we need to start thinking about population. And to do that, I think the first thing I'm going to do is come through here. And we're going to buy a couple of squares, because again, money's no object for Santa Claus. And I just want to have the full space to work with up here, right? I think that's going to be in everybody's best interest. Okay. So right now, I'm wondering if maybe I don't want to think about whether any of these roads need to be bigger before I move on. And I think I do want to come through and make sure this is nice and wide too. So, actually what we'll have to do, bit of a nightmare, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. And just pull that straight across now. Let's try this again. So we'll go ahead and turn this off. Not quite far enough. Okay. That looks a little better. Okay. Still want this to come in at a nice clean spot right here. Or not? Like, what's the deal? Okay. A few more roads to connect up over here yet, obviously. Here, I think we want to do this guy. Okay. In fact, I think we'll go with more of this down through here, and down through here. So how are we looking? So we'll want to still have a place for a road to start coming down there. I think that's probably as good a place as any, considering it'll have to be very switchbacked. So then we can come through and say this will be our main street here. So why don't we go ahead and move these guys over here. And we'll look at some other civic uses we might want. Obviously a school is cute and good to have. And we probably will want a medical center too. This is a nice even block there. If we come down here, okay. And then even do something like that. Perfect. Cool. Okay. Okay, so before I do this, anything more, we do want to create another district here. And this is going to be called Toy Town. Because it's the town where the toys are made, obviously. And I want to come in here and I want to look at European. So what that's going to do is give us a more distinctive look for all the buildings we're about to put down in here. So first, I don't want I regret this already. So I guess I didn't really think about what I need here, which is probably some more uniform blocks on this side. Really, I guess maybe we should look at 5s, because this can stay 7. 5 is what I'm going to be looking at to go for a lot of residential, because especially when we're doing low density, there's a really cute 2x2 house that I want to use because I think it looks like, something kind of cute and elven. Okay, I think this will be good. Hopefully this will give us a lot of variety on the European buildings. We'll see how it turns out here. Let's go ahead and check for heat under the roads here. Can I bring that just to there and have it be okay? We'll see, I guess. And we'll have to do one down the middle as well, unless we do just a couple of here. Okay. Cool. Now I want to come in and basically just spam down a ton of residential right here. I don't know if it's time to maybe take a look and say something like the winter market. We'll create a nice big town square here that we can do this at. Oh, I wish it was even. I wish so badly that was even somehow. But we'll take what we can get. So it won't be perfectly centered, but you will be able to see the tree from anywhere in the downtown area. We'll go ahead and back our zoning off of here and come in with some paths. It's looking pretty well served. Got our paths carved in the snow there. I like it. Okay, I think I'm gonna let this roll and we'll see if our residential stuff starts to pop in here. Interesting. So there's some like monsters that have come in that have sort of ruined. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and try this again. Maybe we just let the corners pop in first. And now we're seeing that commercial demand. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this for now. I don't want to turn all that into commercial. That'll be way too loud, I think. So I think we're gonna have to be a little more strategic here. In terms of making sure we're getting a good balance of 3 deeps and 2 deeps instead of 4 deeps and 1 deeps. Because the 4 deep, 1 deep thing is going to look just odd, honestly. Um, and we don't want that. We'll go ahead and put another shop right there. Okay, we'll try to get a little bit of commercial back through here now. Let's have like a couple of bigger commercial spots, I think, over here by um, this area. In fact, that's not a good spot right by the medical center. I don't like that. I think here by the police station makes a little bit more sense. And then the back of the fire station does too. We'll go ahead and bring this out over here. Like that. Okay. Got the commercial popping in. These are going to take jobs too, obviously. You have power, right? Come on. It's right here. Oh, this doesn't have power. Which means nobody has water. Electricity availability is good. Let's go ahead and check in our vital stats real quick. Water, we're doing fine. Okay. Now this is starting to look a little better here, I think. Go ahead and get these corners in. Those are the sweet spots, right? So you can see we have no industrial demand, as you might expect, given we created a massive industrial operation. And really what we're focused on right now is staffing, right? Right now we need hundreds of elves to be here to take jobs, and because it's City Skylines, you know, there's not just worker elves, right? There are all kinds of elves, child elves and elderly retired elves. Let's go ahead and can we fit a library in right here? Yeah, sure. The other thing I'll do, I guess, while we're sitting here looking at this, is change out the trees right here. Make them a little prettier. Okay. A little jingle bells on the Christmas market there. That's cute. Oh, I didn't ever put this back anywhere. Oh, it fits right there, which is pretty handy, I think. Okay, are we starting to see? So we've got some paper. We've got some plain timber. We've got some plastics. I think we can turn Santa's Toy Factory on. Great news for all the children of the world. Santa's making toys. Now we do need somewhere to put these when they come out, obviously. We have a couple of big warehouses here we could use for this. I think we might as well, right? We want there to be a ton of toys in here. So we want unique factory products, and we want to fill this up. We don't want to export any of our toys until it's time, right? Obviously. Well, we tanked commercial demand quite effectively. Happy to see that. I really want this to stay. These are so cute. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and back these off. And back these off because they're just not working. And then obviously we have more residential demand. So why don't we do this? Let's do this side first. So we're getting kind of up to where I thought we needed to be. We're short on workers in a couple of spots though, for sure. About 100 short on the woodlands, Klaus Imports. Needs about 80 workers. Utilities is short about 80 workers too. So, let's say conservatively it's like 300 workers that we need right now, basically. Um, that's kind of a lot. Uh, I don't know how quickly we can get there, to be totally real with you. Oh, we definitely forgot about death care. Okay. Um, I think we're gonna do a crematorium. We'll do it right there. And we're good on elementary school capacity. Library users in the city, 21. That's pretty impressive for a city this size, honestly. Okay. Still losing quite a bit of money, but again, it's Santa, so I'm not going to stress about that. Jobs available 970, people employed 422. A lot of folks without jobs still. Wonder what else we can do. So residential demand is through the roof. Commercial demand is very high, but it's just nothing can really survive right now. Unfortunately, given kind of just where the city is at. I guess that is doing okay. Oh my god, that's filling up so fast. Wow. Okay. This must be working pretty well. Huh. I guess maybe we could use a little more timber production, but other than that, this is going quite well here, I think. Let's go ahead and check pollution. I did a pretty good job concentrating it back there. I'm pretty happy with that. Noise pollution is a little bit of a different story. Let's go ahead and take a look at the terrain here. I think the way to go here might be up along this ridge. And we can start doing some of these little houses I was telling you about. I think that'll look really cute. So the way I'm going to do that actually is again pull this back. So the thing is, this is going to come through here eventually. Um, because there's stuff over there that we want. We're going to go get it eventually. So now I think these should obviously go over here. Spread out the effect a little bit, and I think this will be a really nice park space eventually overall. And then I think we need to look at sending one road back up through here. So I think the best way to do that will be to come kind of just curve it back and forth. Pretty happy with that. Okay, a little much. Just come in a little different angle there. There we go. And we'll do one more. Okay. So then I'm going to come through with this fence. Maybe we should put a little something up here. It's a little playground. We'll even try to flatten that out a little bit. And I'll just come through here preemptively and say, yeah, we terraced this into a cliff. That's fine. That's how it's going to look. So then we'll want heat up here. I think we might as well connect it from right here. Then now I'm just going to come through and do this. Oops. Except obviously we want both sides of that. And of course we'll want power up there as well. Okay, here we go. These are popping in. Hopefully power will jump. Come on, you definitely have power. Don't lie to me. There we go. That'll do it. Except this is not what I wanted. Hold on. Okay. I totally forgot to do this. And then we need to come in and pick European Suburbia. We'll go ahead and call these the Elven Terraces. So those will all pop back out. And then these ones will pop back in. These are the ones I want right here, I think. Yeah, these cute little A-frame styles, I think just look perfect here with a little bit of hedging. Really intense commercial demand, but not a lot of ability to sustain it yet, as far as I can tell. Yeah, here's why you can see why I wanted these little guys, right? See what the population looks like up here. 44 climbing, as opposed to if we look at Toy Town here, that's almost 1,000. We can look for another spot in here. Okay. Just go ahead and do this. And then we'll come in with our heating pipes. We're going to extend this up here so these come in with the same kind of house. This would be a good spot to connect, for being totally honest. Straight connection there. That's not too bad. I am going to do a trail, and then I think what we need to do is come through with this now rather than later. Good, so now we're seeing some population expansion still. The terrace is up to 120 people. Ooh, Toy Town, almost 1,200. See how the toys are doing here. So we're still short quite a few workers. That's okay, I think. You know, I think big ones here, the biomass pellet plant and the sawmill, both right around half. We can check our vital statistics. So, you know, our population hopefully will continue to find work, I guess. Basically what's going to happen is I'm going to keep introducing new industrial components to the build. So today we did Santa's Workshop, which, you know, you can see is very crowded out front here. It doesn't actually have any industrial situation, big tourist draw, but the toy factory, Santa's Toys here, obviously being what we're using to simulate the industrial output of the North Pole itself. Obviously, that required bringing in, to meet the needs of the unique toy factory here. We needed paper, which we're getting from our biomass pellet plant. We needed plain timber, which we're getting from the sawmill here, both of which required a forestry industry area, which means, some small log yard and a little bit out here in this enchanted forest. And the toy factory required the creation of a forestry area, which is already producing banger resources. Could use a few more workers just to get up to that 2 star. Also required us to create an oil import industry, which is something a little more unusual, but really effective in this situation. I mean, you can see, so here where our plastics output, we're at 64% full with oil we're importing, right? And our unique factory products, the toy factory here, is actually filling up quite impressively. I'm surprised. I guess I shouldn't be, but I think this is really cool to see that this is working and that Santa is it's making the toys. It's happening. I do want to maybe just move a couple of things around back here. Um, so that they make a little more sense. So we do want Klaus imports to include all of Klaus imports. I don't suppose that frees up space for this here, does it? Oh, it's so close. It's so close. Okay, what if we do that over there? I think that's still a decent spot for that. Yeah. And then we can move this back here. There we go. Now it feels like a more natural extension of the toy factory, I think. Big oil import situation happening there, obviously. What I might go ahead and do right here for traffic management is just introduce some asymmetrical roads. And then I want to change the direction down here. And we've got some dedicated turning lanes. That layout makes me a little happier, for sure. And I may go ahead and, while I'm thinking about it here, maybe we put another one of these in for unique factory goods, because I don't know how much it's going to fill up. We're already at 58%. Like, the toy factory is cranking here. Okay. In fact, can we do another medium here? Oh, we totally can. Wow, okay. I'm loving that. Loving that. They take up a lot of workers, don't they? I mean, it's really not that bad. 33, okay. Certainly more than the yards, but it's not the worst. So we could potentially do some more development. We just need residential right now, seriously. So we'll go ahead and do this. I will go ahead and do this. And then we'll do this back here. We'll see if that stays. This is all going to be a work in progress. And I'm immediately regretting this because this has all got to be Toy Town still now. Actually, I think it would be nice to do a big thing right here since we've got these. There we go. And I may even bring in just a little bit like this. I think I would rather have these facing out. Now that I have those facing out, Can I just come in and do... Yeah, there we go. Just create a little square there. I love that. And we just need to get rid of this. So we'll have a nice corner piece pop back in there. Seems like we're actually starting to tank our residential demand, if you can believe it. Alright, I think we do need a high school. None of them really speak to me. I guess this sort of looks like it could be some sort of elven temple. Okay, we'll call this the Elven Institute. This will just be an elven school. Call it the Toy Town Elven School. Well, I'm pretty happy with where we're at today, I think. There's always a ton more detailing I could be doing. I think there will probably be more balancing fixes, but the big challenge, of course, is going to continue to be balancing the industrial, fiction we want to create around the toy factory or potentially some other factories we may want to put in down the line. And we're just going to have to be mindful of how we can keep adding to the population here. So I'll tell you right now, there's probably going to be 4 to 5 episodes of this. The first one I wanted to do today was Santa's Workshop and the Toy Factory, plus building this sort of first urban-ish core here. I also wanted to get a proof of concept here, kind of, on some potential elven terracing situations, because I think this is how we're going to have to make up a lot of residential ground potentially. Now that we have, you know, toys for the nice kids, we're gonna have to think about what Santa needs for the naughty kids. So how are we gonna get something for the naughty kids? Well, I think it's quite simple. We're gonna go to the Industries DLC once again, just like we tapped it today, to set up our toy factory. And we're going to have some coal mines out here. And we're going to have a whole coal export operation ready to go. So obviously we'll need to think about another tiny kind of coal town out here. We might move some municipal services out here depending on how we feel about it. But I think that's going to be next episode. So for today, thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think of the build. So far, I'm kind of excited about this, doing something special for the holidays and also just pushing myself creatively a little bit, I think. Check out my other series, Roslyn, on YouTube if you haven't yet. That's a very slow burn, semi-realistic console build. So thanks for tuning in. Come back, check me out next time. Come check out episode 2 of this series when it's ready, episodes 3 and 4 as well. And happy holidays to everybody. Bye.